Hi everyone, welcome to MissionX. In this episode, I'm going to show you what you can accomplish with MissionX in just 15 minutes. Our goal is to create an organization, create some projects, submit some timesheets, and fire off an invoice. So what I've done is create a brand new account. I've verified my email, and that should have taken you about 30 seconds to a minute. So let's say we can knock 1 minute off the timer. Now, the first thing I want to do is create my organization. I can do that from here, my task menu, or from anywhere in the applications, I can go into my control panel. And here it asks me to create a project, a template, and we want to start an organization. So let's start a new company. And the company name will be Acme Inc. Okay, no logo for now, just going to leave that. Add some departments. Yep, we got marketing, IT, engineering, and you can change all this later, but it's a good way to get you started. So I've added a few departments. My default currency, let's select US dollars. I want to have proposals for my company because I'm a consulting company. I want to track proposals. And do I want to get somebody to help me with setting up my organization? Yeah, I'm going to send this off to Mackie, and that's it. So now that we've created our organization, MissionX takes us right away to our control panel, which is over here. So I can see I can open it and close it. But the first thing I want to do is activate a free trial so I can show you all the features in terms of resource allocation, client management, time tracking, the full shebang. So let's activate the free trial. And that was it. So while we're here, what's really important in MissionX, one of the very few things that I would recommend doing right off the bat is adding some roles to your organization, especially if you're a consulting type company. But even if you're not and you want to track costs, well, by adding a role, for example, senior engineer, drafter, web designer, we can quickly and easily add people to our projects and have our budget automatically created for us. So let's just leave this default calculation as hourly, and I'm going to add just a simple role, a designer, and they're going to be internal costs 50 and the bill rate 100. Okay, maybe not 50. There we go. And I'm going to save this role. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add an engineer. And they're going to be 50 as well. And we're going to build them out at 100. And that's it. So let me save this role. So let's scroll down all the way to invoicing. There's a lot of options here for leaves, timesheets, and this is pretty much where you can manage and set up MissionX. There's no code. There's no expensive consultants. You can do everything yourself. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom and invoicing. And all I'm going to do is fill up some invoice information. And we're done. So that was the basics. I've set up my organization. But what I want to do before leaving, I think is kind of important, is just maybe add some people to our organization. So we've already have Camden pending, and I'm going to add one more person. And as an administrator, now let's make him a team member. Actually, the project manager. Let me invite PM at 29 Camden. And we have PM and Mackie, who I invited at the beginning. So we have some people, we've set up time tracking, and we created some roles. The next thing we want to do is create a project. So as you can see here, I have my Acme organization, and I can create a project for Acme from anywhere in the application. And really simple, I'm just going to call this my simple project. Project code, SIM. Part of a group of department, marketing. Next. Is this a client project? So one of the things we didn't do when we set up our organization is add clients. But don't worry, you could do it right here on the fly. So let me add a client. And the client will be Shell. And the client code will be SCH. And their domains, we can add a domain, and if we want to actually email invoices from MissionX. So I've added a new client. Now that I've added a client, MissionX is smart enough to understand that, okay, this is probably a billable project and it's going to be fixed bid fundable milestones. That's the easiest way. We could also do earned value, time and materials, retainer, however you want, but I'm going to keep this simple. And let's just say we have 200,000 for this budget. Okay, next, who can invite people? Just admins me. And I'm going to select the way I want to manage this project. And it's going to be a simple project type. It's a kind of a mix between a Kanban and a Gantt style project. Very easy. You'll see it in 1 second. I'm going to select the theme, mountains. And finally, I'm going to enable timesheets for myself. Sometimes administrators create these projects, so we don't really need them to create timesheets, but I'm going to be active on this, so create a role for me. And this will allow me to submit timesheets. So I'm going to start the project. That's it. We created a project. It's going to be about 3 months, starting today. Yep, kick it off. And now I could do task management. So very simply, I could create a task A. Okay, and I'm going to assign this to myself, and I'm going to do this to show you how timesheets work, because timesheets are critical to actually submitting invoices. So we've got a task we can work on, but more importantly, let's look at our budget. We selected fundable milestones. Now, the first thing is just your kind of analytics and report in Budget Pro. We have a deep dive, which is my approved budget, but I haven't really defined how I'm going to spend this budget. So we're going to go and do that now. So fundable milestones, let's see. I'm going to add a milestone, and we see we have a budget of 200,000. I'm going to add another milestone, initial payment, project complete. And this is going to be 50% upfront and 50% upon completion. And that's it. So 100,000, 100,000. And I'm just going to go ahead and approve the first one so we can see how that works on invoices. And hopefully by the time the project finishes, which will be maybe January, the beginning of January, then I can approve that one and it'll be ready for invoicing. So here we have our milestones. There's not much more to do. I could continue to roles and add an engineer, designer, and get more complicated, but for this demo, this serves our purpose. So here we have task A, we have our project, and if I go back to my task workboard, I can see that task is here ready to do, and it's due today. So I'm just going to go ahead and complete it. So we created a project, we created a budget, we completed some tasks, and what I want to do next is submit a timesheet. So MissionX automatically knows what projects I'm working on, it knows what tasks I was assigned. So all I have to do, as we can see here, our simple project, task A, which I just completed. I could say, that's cheating. I worked on it for 8 hours. And I'm going to submit my timesheet. And that was it. Nothing more to do. Because I'm the project manager, it's already approved. So roughly in about 5 minutes, we did a lot of stuff already. And we only had to fill in one form. And we didn't even use that form yet. That's for our invoicing, which I'm going to show you in 1 second. So I navigate back to my organization, Acme Inc. And from there, I can go to clients and invoicing. Here I can see the client we created, Shell. I could add a new client. So let me add a new one really quickly to show you. So this could be BP. And the client code could be BP. I'm going to skip the domain. I add a new client. Let me show you what a client looks like in here. So clients have a lot of settings. We can activate it, deactivate it, client domains for sending out emails. We can limit to department. So for example, this client only belongs to the engineering department or marketing department. And then a bunch of details, for example, their address, who we're billing it to, and also different contacts. So British Petroleum is a giant corporation. We might have contacts like British Petroleum Marketing or British Petroleum Engineering. You can do that here as well. And that's it. That's how easy it is to add clients. But most importantly, let's go to invoicing. So I want to create some invoices. And let's check out November. If you remember, we created a fundable milestone for November, and that fundable milestone was for a simple project, and it was an initial payment. This could save you about 80-90% of your time simply by automating the gathering of information and presenting it to you for invoicing. Now, what's important here is that it's already been selected because we've already approved this fundable milestone. So it says, yep, this is ready to go. I could uncheck it, I could change it, I could do whatever I want. But MissionX is also smart. It's saying, here's some other items, but that haven't been approved or probably aren't good for invoicing. For example, task A. We already put 8 hours against that, but because it's fundable milestones, we're not going to bill it. I could just as easily select task A, add a rate to it, and include that in my invoice. So what do I want to do? I want to generate this invoice. And MissionX has automatically created my invoice, which we can see in View and Send Invoices. So we can see we have an invoice for Shell. It's Shell 1, automatically numbered. The invoice amount. We have some actions to do, which means we need to finalize it. Now, just because we created an invoice doesn't mean it's final by any stretch of the imagination. So here we have our invoice. This is the information we pre-filled. We didn't fill any client information, but if we had filled that up, it would be here and editable. And I can also change, for example, the invoice date. I can change the due date. And I can also select the amounts and change them. For example, I could add a discount code, 20%. I could add some sales tax, 15%, anything else. And MissionX just automatically does that. Now I can even go in here and change the amounts. So that was 100. Let's change it to 120. That was it. Now all I have to do is finalize and create a PDF. And we're ready to go. I could either send this off or I could view the PDF, download it, and send it at my leisure. We saw in just a few minutes what we could accomplish with MissionX end to end, from creating a project, submitting timesheets, creating your budget, and then sending off an invoice. Besides that, MissionX has already filled in a lot of analytics for my organization. The projects, our roadmap, our resource profile and the resources we're going to need, our financials, our clients, time tracking. We can see all different company timesheets and project timesheets, any leave requests if we had them. We could even have created some expenses. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to learn more, visit missionx.ai.